based on client-server model, which means that they heavily rely on the networking platform, or they make heavy network requests. Traditionally, the Android platform, when it was introduced, it had its own library called as the async task. When we talk about an async task, it was good in some terms, but it had its own problems. For example, uh, in Android, when we talk about the async task, it had three important callback methods. One is the pre-execute, one is the do in background, and other one is the post-execute. Out of these three callback methods, the pre-execute and the post-execute callback methods run on the main thread, whereas the do in background runs on the background thread. So when Android was introduced and when the async task was heavily used before the Volley came into picture, all the HTTP client code or the networking requesting code was being written in the doing background of the async task. So as I said earlier, it had its own typical problems. For example, when we make use of an async task, basically when we make a request, the response what we receive is a string response. So at the same time, if I want a JSON object request or a JSON array request or an image request, let's say if I want a response as a JSON, I receive the response as a string, and then I need to convert it into JSON object. In the same way, if I want a JSON array, the response is again needed to be converted into JSON array. In the same way, again when we talk about an image request, the response is received, it is then converted into the byte array, and it is then converted into bitmap, and then passed on to the main thread for appending on the views or the image views. So in this way, for writing the entire code, the number of lines for writing the code was increased. Also, async task is not like an out-of-the-box implementation. The developer needs to write all the entire code. And another problems with the async task was that cancelling an already running async task is a bit difficult. So let's say because of the bad network conditions, there is already a networking request going on with the help of async task. Let's say, and if the user tries to exit the activity or the application, cancelling an async task will take a bit of time because and also it needed the implementation of try, catch, and finally blocks for cancelling the async task request. Considering all these problems, I think around 2 or 3 years ago, the Volley came into picture. Typical comparison on a basic overview when we talk about an async task and an Android Volley is that async task, I somehow feel it as a sequential programming. The best example I can give you is that two players playing against each other on a tennis court. One player hits the ball, the other player receives it and hits back again. So in one way, I consider it as a sequential programming. It is my own assumption. But when we talk about Android Volley request, I'll give you a better example by saying that there are like 100 soldiers standing and they shoot arrows all at a time, which means that you can directly shoot networking requests all at a time. So without any hassles or problems. So when we talk about Android Volley, it makes use of the HTTP client library, and it belongs to the AOSP repository, and the Android Volley is developed by the Google I/O developers. Some of the typical benefits of Android Volley are it has request prioritization, it can handle all the multiple requests without any problems, and you can cancel a request very easily. It has a very good top-notch industry caching mechanism. So getting deeper into Volley, as I said, the problems which are faced by the async task, they are basically overcome in the Volley. When we talk about Volley, there are different types of requests associated with it. One is the string request, one is the JSON object request, JSON array request, and the image request. And it has its own different APIs for image view and the image loaders. I'll go in detail about them. So to start off with, when we talk about Volley, there are two important things associated with it. One is the request queue and the object request. Object request meaning what type of request we are going to make. Typically, when we talk about the Wally's implementation, you can get it in the Gradle as a library, or you can import as a separate library. The request queue object needs to be always implemented at the application level, because different activities from the entire application access the networking Wally library. So the request queue object has to be implemented, not has to be, it needs to be implemented at the application level. Depending on the type of response you're looking for, be it the string request response, JSON object, JSON array, or the image request response, that type of object request needs to be passed on to the request queue. So when we talk about the different object request, this object request, as I said, needs to be passed on to the request queue. And Wally automatically handles all the networking requests without any problems, and it has its own request prioritization. So to begin with, the first object request, which is the string object request, a string object request is created and is then passed on to the request queue. The response, since it is a string object request, the response is automatically the string response. Then it is passed on to the main thread for appending onto any views. Then when we talk about the JSON object request or the JSON array request, the request is made. The response is directly received as a JSON object or a JSON array, depending on the type of the request we make. Here the advantage is that when compared to async task, here Wally automatically converts the entire string into JSON object or JSON array, and then it passes the object, the JSON object or the JSON array, to the callback method, and from then on the user can play with it and pass it on to the main thread. And in terms of image also, when we make an image request through a Wally, the response that you receive is directly a bitmap. The user can directly append the bitmap to the view. So all the typical extra coding that is required for conversion from string to JSON object or an image is not required over here. So in some ways, this is an out-of-the-box thinking, out-of-the-box implementation of Android Wally. So apart from this, there are several other things associated with it. Like when we talk, as I said earlier, we can even cancel an async task. But cancelling an async task is way much difficult when compared to Wally. In Wally, whenever you make a request, you have to set a tag. So for each tag that you set for every request, you can cancel that particular request with the help of that tag. So the developer should keep in mind that whenever the developer is trying to cancel a request, it needs to be implemented in the onStop callback method of the activity lifecycle. So it should not be in the onDestroy or any other lifecycle methods, but it should always be present in the onStop. There, the request can be cancelled based on the tag, and also the request cancellation happens in nanosecond or in milliseconds. It is as fast as possible. And also when we talk about the tags for each request that you make, it all depends on the user. So it all depends on the developer. The tag, you can keep different tags for different URLs, or you can keep the same tag for different URLs. If you keep the same tag, if you cancel the request, all the requests are cancelled automatically based on the tag. Now this was about the request cancellation, and now coming on to how the entire workflow of Wally actually works. So what typically happens with Android Wally workflow is that whenever the request is actually made for the first time, the Wally library will check whether there is a cache is present for that particular URL or not. If there is a cache present, then the response is directly fetched from the already cached data, and then it is passed on to the main thread. If the cache is not present, then the request is made by passing the request object to the request queue. The response is received, and then it is passed on to the main thread. Then over there it can be appended to the main views. So in this way, the entire workflow of the Android Wally happens. So as you all are aware that we make use of recycler views, list views, and grid views. There's constant recycling happening whenever you scroll vertically onto the list view or a recycler view. During the initial days of development, we were using lazy loading, but it did not provide a proper caching mechanism. Over there, we needed to write our own caching mechanism, and it required a bulk of code that needed to be written. So to overcome these sort of problems, in the Volley library, there is already an API provided which is called as the image loader. In the on get view of the list view, or in the on bind view holder of a recycler view, the image loader APIs can be used, which runs simultaneously in the background for fetching the thumbnails of that particular list item or the recycler item and appending it onto the image views. So basically, we are always habituated of using image views for appending the images onto the list view or the recycler view. And the another added advantage with Android Volley library is that it provides a network image view. This particular network image view API is built on top of the image view. So what happens is, whenever you are using the network image view inside of a list view or a recycler view, and when there are simultaneous requests going on, if the view is detached from the hierarchy, the request is automatically suspended by the network image view. So the developer doesn't need to write any extra code. The only thing that he has to do is he needs to implement that network image view. Remember, the network image view needs to be written in the XML file as well as in the activity file. So these are some of the typical advantages associated with Volley. And apart from this, the only problem what I found with Volley, it is not as a problem. Most of the operations by Volley are carried out on the worker threads. Once the response is received, for the string response, JSON object, JSON array, and the image response, there are basically two callback methods for Volley. One is the on the received response. If the request is of string type, the response is string response is received and is passed on to the main thread. For the JSON object response, normally, since Android is based on the Java platform, all the data that needs to be passed on to the activity and additional problem that I found with Volley was Volley doesn't support XML. If at all the user wants to make use of the XML responses as well, he needs to make a string request, and once the string response is received, he needs to manually convert it into XML response and convert it into respective Pojo class and pass it on to the main thread. So this is how entirely how the Volley works. So, and another thing is that I've been receiving a lot of comments. So Karthik Srikar has asked how to handle parallel service requests. So this is a good question actually. So in terms of parallel service request, creating a request is simpler. You can shoot all the requests all at a time, but handling the responses is a bit difficult. What I would suggest is, in order to handle parallel service request, as I said, at the application level, you need to create the request queue, and for that request queue, you need to pass on the JSON object request. For the JSON object request, you pass in your URL, so that what happens is, whenever the response is received, for the same URL, you create a custom interface with two parameters. One is the response and one is the URL parameter. Whatever request, while passing the request, whatever URL you use, the same response in the custom interface, you will receive the same URL based on the if condition or the switch. Based on the if condition, you can carry out a check whether it matches with what requested URL you have made, and based on that you can pass the response as well. And also the response, once the response is received, it can be passed on to the main thread. So, and another question is from Naveen Kunchakuri. Can we post from multi-part data using Volley? This is a good question. Multi-part, currently Volley doesn't support multi-part data. There is another library called as Android multi-part request. So you can make use of that library for creating multi-part requests. So Volley currently doesn't support it. And also one thing which I forgot to mention about Android Volley is that Android Volley should only be used for making nominal or simpler requests and receiving the response. If you want to download any files or make use of any streaming data, Volley is not at all recommended for this sort of services. If you want to download a file or carry out a streaming services, there is a separate API called as Download Manager. You can always make use of it. And there is another question from Praveen Potnuru. So he has asked how to overcome network retry issues in Volley. So this is one of the most challenging questions, like not challenging questions, one of, I can say, typical bugs associated with Volley. Whenever we set up a Volley in our Android application, Volley has its own retry policy. Sometimes what happens is, when you make a request, even though the request reaches the server, Volley sometimes again makes a request. So in order to avoid that, we retry issues associated with the Volley. I think that's all for today. Hope you all liked my session. Any questions you can